for number 2, wouldn't 88 be the answer?
No. No. I'll let you see my notes when I get done so you can get it copied.
I'm just trying to see if I can catch up.
All right, so let's look right here. Let's work through it really fast, okay? Learning target 1 was how to find a value. So we're still using the same applet, okay? So if we're looking to find a value, okay, remember in our applet, we're going to change our top menu to calculate value. We have to tell it if we're going to do the right side, the left side, just like yesterday. And then we put in our percent as a decimal. Okay, so both things that we talked about today are going to use the applet, but we just have to use it in a little different capacity. Okay, so we change the top menu to calculate a value. If it's a percentile, it's always to the left. And then we always put in our percent as a decimal. That's where the area goes when it talks about the area. Okay. And most times if it's saying percentile, which it will say 99% of the time, so it'll be to the left. Okay. And then learning target 2 was when we were looking for the mean or the standard deviation. We're going to use the same process in the applet, all right, of find a value, but we're going to let the mean be 0 and the standard deviation equal 1. We'll still choose either left, right, okay, most times it's left, and we'll put our percent in as a decimal. And what we're looking for this time is the z-score, okay? Now, that's not our final answer. All right, then we solve, okay? The z-score formula, plugging in what we know. Z equals our value that they give me minus the mean divided by the standard deviation. So only in the second part do we have to do that extra step. Most of your problems are going to be like learning target 1. Okay, so most of them will be that way. But everything, like I said, works off the applet, which is nice. We just got to set it up correctly.
Excuse me, can you please send Lindy Garcia to the CT office?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Is Lindy in here? Is Lindy in here? They're looking for her in the CTE office. Okay. Well, when she comes back. All right, so let's do a couple of examples together, and then I'm going to let you work, okay? So let's take a look at this first one. So again, we're talking about high levels of cholesterol, which we did discuss yesterday. It gives me a mean of 151.6 and a standard deviation of 25. And it asked me to find the 20th percentile of the distribution. Okay, so what it's given me is how much of the curve we want to color in. We want to color in 20%. Okay, so I'm looking for the value. What is that number along the bottom that goes with that percentile? Okay, so remember, percentiles are always colored to the left. All right, so when we go to our applet, all right, so let's do that. Let's go to our applet. We're going to put in the mean and the standard deviation because they gave me both, which was nice. Okay. All right, so let's go over here. First thing we want to be sure is that we have chosen the right option at the top. Okay, we're calculating a value because it gave me a percent. They gave me the mean, which was, thank you, 151.6, and what was 25. Thank you for my standard deviation. We're going to plot it, okay? We are going to the left, all right? And that area we're talking about was that percent. What would 20% be as a decimal? 0.20, okay? And we calculate the value, and there's our value, 130.559, and we write it down, okay? So on the top one, that's all we have to do is just plug in the right things into the applet, and it will give me that value that we're looking for. Okay. Question about using the applet this way versus what we did yesterday. It's just a little different. Okay. Alrighty, so that gives me 130.559. Okay. Now let's look at the second one. This is a little bit different. Okay. This time it says for teen girls, the mean is approximately 157.5. And about 8.9% of teen girls have high cholesterol. That is 200 milligrams per deciliter or greater. Okay, so we want to find the standard deviation. Okay, we want to find the standard deviation, which means they didn't give me enough information. So when we go to our applet, we're going to let the mean be 0 and the standard deviation be 1, and we're going to get the z-score. All right, now what's tough about this one is figuring out which way we're going to go in this applet, okay, because we're going to need that percentile. All right, first of all, 8.9%, what would that be as a decimal? 0.089, okay? Now, it tells me that about 0.089 have high cholesterol. That is greater than 200. So if I was going to draw 8.9% that's greater than something else, where would that 8.9% be? To the left or to the right? It'd be to the right, okay? Because it said greater, okay, we'd want to go to the right. So that's going to be different in the applet this time. Most times it's going to be left, okay? But this time it said right, all right? So that can be a little bit tricky. All right, let's plug in this stuff and see if we can figure it out. So we're going to need the 0, the 1, and the 0.089 to the right. Okay, so go back up to the top. We're going to change that, leave it calculate a value. And we're going to go 0. And then we're going to go 1. It's not going to like it. We're going to plot it. Hold on a minute. Let me reload it. It's mad at me. There we go. So probability normal. And then calculate a value. All right, so 0, 1, plot it. We're going to go down here, and this time we're going to change it to right, okay, because we want to be greater than something. My area was that 0.089. Okay, and we're going to calculate it. We're looking for the z-score. All right, what z-score did it give me? 1.347, but that is not my answer. Okay, so now we're going to use the z-score formula. Okay, so data minus mean over the standard deviation. Well, I found the z-score. The z-score, bless you, is 1.347. Okay, now my data point, and this is where it's kind of weird. Okay, we're talking about high cholesterol. What number goes with the high cholesterol? The 200. So we have 200. And what was the mean? Bless you. 157.5. Okay, and then we're going to divide it by our standard deviation. I'm going to call it S. Okay. Remember, I told you we're just going to multiply that across. So 1.347S. If I take 200 and I subtract 157.5, I get 42.5. Okay. And then we're going to divide by that 1.347. So my standard deviation is going to equal 31.55. Okay, so those are the most complicated ones. All right, and I try not to give you but maybe one of those. Okay. All righty. I think that's everything, y'all. Okay? Get it? Got it good? Let's practice, okay? Y'all work on the practice. We're going to skip the rest. I just showed you this so you could look at the applet to see what it needed to look like. The important thing is that part right there has to be a decimal. That's your percent. Okay? So that's the most important thing. Right? And then, so today you're going to do assignment 2.6. We're going to skip all that. 2.6, I think it's 4 questions. Somebody double check me. Okay, so it's 4 questions, all right, and that's what I need you to work on today. Yeah, I will.